Jaya Radha Madhuva Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhuva Kunja Bihari Gopi Janabalaba Iribadadhante Gopi Janabalaba Iribadadhante Yasodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yamuna Tera Panachade Munatera Manachari Jaya Madhuva Kunya Bihante Jaya Madhuva Kunya Bihari Gopi Janabalaba Girivardhagute Gopi Janabalaba Girivardhagute Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tera Badachade Yamuna Tera Banachade Jaya Madhuva Kunja Bhakti Jaya Madhuva Kunja Bhakti Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravidikacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Chalanad Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Thakur Ki Jai Friends, say Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sidvaita Gadadha Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sayama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuram Ki Jai Jagadadha Swami Ki Jai Yamuna Maya Ki Jai Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrindagajai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Gijai Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Prestaya Bhutle. Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Samani. Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nivishesha Shunyavadi. Paschatya Tejatarni. So, before we go into Bhagavatam, I just want to mention briefly, today is Diwali. And I'm just very brief. And of course, Diwali, Deepavali means lights. And which means a line, basically means a line of lights. Generally, in the Krishna conscious movement, we commemorate Diwali because it's the time when Lord Ramchandra came back to Ayodhya, and basically they were laying out the landing place for Lord Ramchandra's Pushpaka Vimana, the runway, so to speak. So anyway, so basically that was it. Although there are many other things that are celebrated, other occasions that are celebrated on Diwali, and I'm going to mention them all very briefly. On Sunday, I'll talk more extensively. There's some story about Lord Vishnu rescuing Lakshmi when Lakshmi was in the prison of King Bali, or Bali Maharaj. It's also the commemoration of when Krishna killed Narakasura and received 16,100 wives. It's also the return of the Pandavas when they were finished their years of banishment as a result of defeat at the hands of the Kurus. I mentioned Lord Ram before. Anyway, it's a festival of colors, and there's fireworks everywhere in India. You can't take rest in India because there's fireworks going on all the time. Anyway, and many people take it as the worship of Lakshmi, and they decorate their houses and clean their houses very nicely. Leave the windows and doors open so Lakshmi can come in. And even amongst the Jains, which are a non-Hindu sect, the Jains actually celebrate Diwali as the day in which one of their last Tirthankaras, great saints, Mahavir, achieved liberation, Jain liberation. So anyway, so all these things are celebrated on this day of Diwali. Diwali is actually several days. It's not just one day. But in any case, it's a very important day. And actually, the Sikhs celebrate Diwali to commemorate the laying of the foundation stone for the Golden Temple in 1577. And anyway, let's see. The Guru Har Gobind Singh returned to Amritsar on Diwali, and his followers were very happy about it. So anyway, all of these things happened on this particular day. So now we'll go on to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 56th chapter, text 12. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sa Yachato Manim Kvape Rayadu Rajaya Shaurana Naivarta Kamuka Pradad Yachna Vangam atarkayan. Sayachito manim kvape. Yadu Rajaya Shaurina Naivarta Kamukha Pradad Yachna Bangam Atarkayan Sayachito Manim Kvape Yadu Rajaya Shaurina Naivarta Kamukha Pradad Yachna Bhangam Atarkayam Sayachito Manim Kvape Yadu Rajaya Shorina Naivarta Kamukha Pradad Yachna Bhangam Atarkayan. Okay. Sa, he Satrajit. Jachita, requested. Manim, the gem. Kva on one occasion. Yadu Rajaya, for the king of the Yadus Ugrasena. Shorana, by Lord Krishna. Na, not. Eva, indeed. Arta, after wealth. Kamuka, greedy. Pradat, gave. Yachna, of the request. Vangam, the transgression. Attakayan, not considering. So, translation. On one occasion, Lord Krishna requested Satrajit to give the jewel to the Yadu king Ugrasena. But Satrajit was so greedy that he refused. He gave no thought to the seriousness of the offense he committed by denying the Lord's request. So you can repeat. On one occasion, Lord Krishna requested Satyajit to give the jewel to the Yadu king Ugrasena. But Satyajit was so greedy that he refused. He gave no thought to the seriousness of the offense he committed by denying the Lord's request. So we'll read the commentaries by the Acharyas, since the disciples and followers of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada have not written any commentary. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that Krishna requested the jewel for the treasury of King Ugrasena. Satyajit refused without considering the effects of refusing the request of the Lord. Yachna Bangam. It's spelled wrong. Atarkayan. Actually, in this purport, it's spelled wrong. By not offering it to the Supreme Lord, but instead enjoying himself that object which could destroy all misfortunes would instead become the cause of all misfortunes. What then would be the offense if the Lord requested it for himself, and he did not give? Therefore, he requested it for King Ugrasena. And Jiva Goswami comments, Krishna asked him to give the jewel to King Ugrasena because it was only suitable for a king. Krishna did not want it for himself, since he was indifferent to it. He only requested without any attempt at forcefully taking it by violence, since Krishna was a person who spread the fame of heroes shown in awe. Satyajit, however, was greedy for wealth, artha, not dharma. Therefore, he did not consider it a fault when he ignored the Lord's request. Since the gem was an excellent article, Satyajit should have previously offered it on his own. But even when the Lord requested, he did not give it. Satyajit did not see that it would produce great disaster for himself. In other words, he was killed because of it. The word eva indicates that repeatedly he was requested but not give. The verb pradat, really give, indicates that when requested, he deceived him by pretending he would give it with such words as, yes, let him use it. So getting back to the Sanskrit. So yachito manhin kvapi yadu rajaya shorina naivarta kamuka pradad yachna bangam atarkayan. So omagana timidandasya gananjana shilakaya chakshur unmiritam yena tasmai shigadave namaha. So we should remember, wherever this jewel was present, not only would there be gold, but there would be good fortune, it would rain at the proper time, nobody would die prematurely. I mean, it was really everything that anyone would want. So therefore, Krishna requested it for King Ugrasena, not for the personal benefit of King Ugrasena, but for the benefit of the kingdom of Dwarka. That's the real point. So, we're going to talk about a particular subject matter that's mentioned many, many times in the Bhagavatam, and give some examples of how, for the benefit of the general mass of people, or for others, one should be ready to sacrifice one's own happiness. Here, Satyajit is not being asked to sacrifice his happiness. He's just being asked to sacrifice the gold, because he could live in Dwarka, where everything would be auspicious, because the Shaimantaka jewel would be in Dwarka. So he is thinking, as Prabhupada would sometimes quote, money is the honey. Then money is everything. Of course, there's 4 purusharthas. A purushartha means goals of human beings within this world. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. And artha is just one of those. First one, of course, is dharma, religion. Of course, generally that particular understanding of religion is in a material context. So we perform dharma to become material dharma, to become happy in this world, and then one gets wealth, just like, okay, today's Diwali. So people think if they do this dharma of Lakshmi Puja, right, then they'll be wealthy. In fact, I was told that on this particular day of Diwali, or when Lakshmi is worshipped, people will not give donations to sannyasis. Because they consider, they open their windows, open the doors so Lakshmi will come in. So they consider if they give anything away on this particular day, that will predict the rest of the year of losing everything. So, anyway, so people think money is so important, but as they say, money can't buy you happiness, all these things. So dharma, artha, and then with money, then you can get kama, or material enjoyment, lust, whatever. And then when you get good and frustrated, that's moksha. You want to get rid of everything. And of course, in Krishna consciousness, we have this thing called the Panchama Purushartha, the 5th goal, which is Krishna Prema. So here, we find Satrajit is just thinking of money, not really in a holistic way thinking of being happy or thinking of benefiting people. So there's many stories, as we mentioned before, in the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Vedic literatures, of people who became glorified for sacrificing their own happiness, and sometimes even sacrificing their own body for the welfare of others. And of course, the first story that comes to mind is this story of Dadichi Muni. And this is part of the whole Chitraketu story in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where Chitraketu is cursed to become a demon, and he becomes Vritrasura. And Vritrasura cannot be defeated by any weapon, even the ordinary thunderbolt of Indra. So Indra has to make a thunderbolt that is from the bones of Dadichi Muni. Can you imagine that? Because Dadichi Muni has been chanting this Narayana Kavacha prayer, and so by chanting, I guess, his whole life, all of his bones became like weapons or something like that. So, okay. So then the demigods are told, or Indra is told, to go to Dadichi Muni and beg him for his body. Now, can you imagine if you had a way to help people in this universe, and let's say your guru goes and begs you, oh my God, test of faith here. So you're begged for your body, just to give up your body so he can use your bones. Interesting. And actually, one of my disciples, he didn't have a kidney. Well, he lost his kidneys, and he asked his sister to provide a kidney. So, it's a similar type of thing. So anyway, so here's the story. So at first, he actually appears to refuse. And he's testing the demigods to see, their determination, to see if they understand the philosophy. But ultimately, he gives these quotes here. He speaks these quotes for the 6th canto, 10th chapter, text 8, if you want to look it up. So, O demigods, one who has no compassion. So this is the opposite, of course, of Satraja. O demigods, one who has no compassion for humanity and its suffering and does not sacrifice his impermanent body for the higher causes of religious principles or eternal glory is certainly pitied even by the immovable beings. Wow. That means even the trees, plants, creepers. So Satraja is not being asked to give up his body. He's just being asked to give the goals. That's it. Another quote. Actually, there's, and then I'm going to read one of the purports from these verses. If one is unhappy to see the distress of other living beings and happy to see their happiness, his religious principles are appreciated as imperishable by exalted persons who are considered pious and benevolent. And text 10. This body, which is eatable by jackals and dogs after death, does not actually do any good for me, the spirit soul. It is usable only for a short time, and it may perish at any moment. The body and its possessions, its riches and relatives, must all be engaged for the benefit of others, or else they will be sources of tribulation and misery. And then this is a beautiful verse, Srimad Bhagavatam. This is from Prabhupada's purport of Prabhupada quotes from the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:22-35. Etava janma sapalyam dehinam iha dehishu pranayaratar diha vatsha shreya acharanam sada. It is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, wealth, intelligence, and words. This is the mission of life. One's own body and the bodies of his friends and relatives, as well as one's own riches and everything else one has, should be engaged for the benefit of others. And in the purport to 610.8, I'm just going to take part of it. Purport, Prabhupada quotes from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Illustrating the Lord's own compassion, 11.5.34. Tyaktva sudushyaja saripsita raja lakshmim dharmishtarya vachasaya dagad aranyam maya mrigam dayate epsitam anvadavad vonde mahapurushate charanaravindam. We offer our respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Lord, whom one should always meditate. He left his household life, leaving aside his eternal consort, whom even the denizens of heaven adore. He went to the forest to deliver the fallen souls who are put into the illusion by material energy. And of course, this verse is generally taken by the acharyas as referring to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because we know in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, I mean, of course, we're talking now about the exoteric reason, him taking sannyas, not the esoteric. The esoteric reason had to do with Vipralamba Seva in the mood of Srimati Radharani. But the exoteric, the external reason that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas is described in the histories like the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's students were disrespecting him. And Lord Chaitanya was thinking, I have come to save everybody, and now people are committing offenses, and basically, paraphrasing, going to hell. So therefore, it's described, and Prabhupada describes sometimes too, as a trick, so that people would respect Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave up his home, his affectionate wife, his affectionate mother, for the welfare of others. So, the perfect example. And then Prabhupada quotes this famous verse from the Goswami Ashtaka about how the 6 Goswamis gave up everything for the welfare of others. I'm going to recite the verse. Jaktva turnam sheshamandalapati shrenam siddhastu chavat bhutva dina ganeshako guruniya kompina kanta shrako. And Prabhupada talks about the Goswamis left their comfortable homes. I mean, they were making so much money. Talk about the money of Satyajit. They had, it's described, Rupa Goswami had boatloads of gold. Can you imagine? Boatloads of gold. And they gave it up and joined Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission to show mercy to the conditioned souls. Dina Ganesha Ko Koruneya. And more in the purport here. And they're wearing, they accepted humble lives as mendicants and wore no more than loincloths and torn quilts. Kopina Kantashato. For the benefit of others. And Prabhupada here makes a plea to us here. He says, similarly, everyone else with a materially comfortable position in the world should join the Krishna conscious movement to elevate the fallen souls. That doesn't mean we should all take sannyas or walk around in kopinas. That will not be so effective. We have this yukta vairagya. Yukta vairagya means we use whatever we have in Krishna's service to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. And Prabhupada said, one should join the Krishna conscious movement following the examples of such great personalities as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the 6 Goswamis, and before them the great sage Dadichi. This is from Prabhupada's purport in the section of the Bhagavatam about Dadichi. Instead of wasting one's life for temporary bodily comforts, one should always be prepared to give up one's life for better causes. After all, the body will be destroyed. Therefore, one should sacrifice it for the glory of distributing religious principles throughout the world. And so that's the example of Dadichi and Prabhupada's commentary on it, which also involves Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's other examples. Yeah, we have some time here. How the sages at Naimisharanya, this is actually the beginning of Bhagavatam, they engaged in a 1,000-year sacrifice. Can you imagine? I get a little antsy after about 10-minute sacrifice. When is it going to end? But 1,000-year sacrifice for the benefit of the living entities. Of course, eventually they discovered the fire sacrifice was, what did they say, getting smoke in their eyes. And they decided that the sacrifice that they were going to engage in was hearing from Sutta Goswami about the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, of course, that is the sacrifice in Kali Yuga. Yajaya Sankirtana Prayar. Yajanti hi Sumedasak. Isn't it? Those who have intelligence, they engage in this Sankirtan. Sumedasa. Those who have intelligence in this age of Kali. So, there's another example of sacrifice for the welfare of others. Lord Ramchandra, for the welfare of his kingdom, he sacrificed living with his beloved wife, Sita Devi. And of course, we do understand esoterically that Ram and Sita are never separated. But still, he's showing the example. If someone takes a position like that of a king or a president or prime minister or whatever, one considers the welfare of the prajas. Praja means those who were born in, Prabhupada said, he considers them like his children as more important than his own happiness or his family happiness or his family connections like that. So that's another example. And another famous example, I came across all these wonderful examples of people willing to sacrifice in the Bhagavatam, is that of Rantidev, King Rantidev. I mean, he used to engage in really heavy austerities with his family. It's described that sometimes his family members were shivering because of want of, even though he was the king. So there's this instance that one time for 48 days, he was undergoing this particular fast. 48 days? Codicy is a challenge for all of us. And so for 48 days he was doing this fast, and they brought food to him. Somehow or other they cooked some food for him, milk, ghee, and other things like that. When they were about to eat, a Brahmin came, and he divided it in half, gave him a share of the food, and then he took the rest and was going to eat with his relatives. And then a Shudra came, and it's described, seeing the Shudra in relationship with the Supreme Personality of God, that he gave him a share of the food. Then another guest came. That means a man surrounded by dogs. He said, I and my dogs are hungry. So he gave the rest of the food to the master of the dogs, and the dogs, pretty heavy. And then there was a little water, and a Chandala appeared, and he said, I'm thirsty, basically, and he gave him the water. And Maharaj Rantidev, after this, prayed, I do not pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the opposite of Satyajit. This is what I'm doing. I'm contrasting Vaishnavas with Satyajit's mentality and actions. I do not pray for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is 9:21:12, if you want the reference to it. For the 8 perfections of mystic yoga, nor for salvation from repeated birth and death. I only want to stay among all living entities and suffer all distresses on their behalf, so they may be relieved or freed from suffering. Sounds like Vasudeva Dutt. Very, very similar. He said, by offering my water to maintain the life of this poor Chandala, who is struggling to live, I have been freed from all hunger, thirst, fatigue, trembling of the body, moroseness, distress, lamentation, and illusion. So after this, of course, these different entities who came to take the food and the water revealed themselves as demigods, like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and other demigods, and Rantidev was blessed. Whew. Oh my God, all these examples. And of course, I mean, we can't imitate their particular example. Prabhupada, it was interesting, Prabhupada one time was asked, the devotees had some prasadam, and Prabhupada asked, should we distribute the prasadam or should we eat it? Prabhupada said, charity begins at home. So, you have to take care of your body. Your body belongs to Krishna. But these are particularly elevated, transcendental souls. These pastimes are not meant to be imitated. Final example I'm going to give is another example from the Bhagavatam is Maharaj Shivi. Maharaj Shivi was tested too. So what happened is that the king of heaven, that's Indra, took the shape of an eagle, and Agni took the shape of a pigeon. And the eagle was chasing the pigeon to eat it. And the pigeon took shelter, landed on the lap of Maharaj Shivi. And the king said, and the eagle said, you're protecting this pigeon, but you're not giving me anything to eat. So I want something to eat. So the king wanted to give it some other food that he had in his kingdom. So he thought, and the eagle said, no, I will not accept this. I will only accept flesh from you, the king, equivalent to the weight of the pigeon. Oh my God, what a test. Oh my God. So anyway, so then the king began to cut flesh from his body, and there was a balance, but the pigeon was always heavier. And so the king then put himself on the balance, and the balance was there, and then it was revealed that the pigeon and the hawk or the eagle, there was Indra and Agni, and the demigods blessed King Rantidev. So we'll also be tested in different ways, not precisely like that. You know, compassion rather than selfishness. Are we concerned for others? Or are we creepinos? Can anyone think of any other examples of someone who sacrificed his own happiness? I mean, I haven't listed here, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good example. I hadn't thought about that one. Anyone think of Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada sacrificed. That's the reason we're here today. Is that Prabhupada, not in good health, got on a boat, crossed the ocean without any money, you know, of course, having faith in Krishna, and for the welfare of others. So this is a Vaishnava. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. That's an ocean of mercy. So any other examples? Or any questions someone would like to ask? Oh, Jayananda, of course, yeah. Jayananda even gave, what's that? He gave everything, even the money meant for his medical use. He gave to Srila Prabhupada. He gave money. Originally, he gave money for the printing books, and then when he had some money because he had this leukemia, he got money for the medical procedure or something like that. He gave it to Srila Prabhupada. That is Atma Nivedanam. So any questions? Heavy message today. Anyway. Yeah. Yes. I mean, to be practical, Prabhupada was also concerned with our health. I mean, it's not, like I said, these examples are not something that we verbatim follow. I mean, Prabhupada many times, I remember he had one devotee who wasn't feeling well, and Prabhupada suggested that she would go spend some time in Hawaii to recuperate. So Prabhupada was very compassionate and loving with the devotees. But the general mood should be that whatever energy, whatever lifespan we have, whatever intelligence we have, should be utilized. It's still dark outside. Yeah, you don't. You know, there's this habit of turning it off all the time, but it, you know, it makes people welcome when there's a light outside. So so whatever we have should be utilized for the service of Sri Krishna, with the idea of participating in the Sankirtan movement, of helping others, which is the best welfare activity. Okay? Any other question? No? Okay, thank you very much. All glories to His divine grace. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindanalayataksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Adi.
Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam. Namam Vishwaram Satchid Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namam Vishwaram Satchid Darupam Yashodaveo Nukalad Tavamandam Param Rishtamat Yantagoto Gupya Rudantamohur Netra Yumam Brishantam Karambocha Chukmena Satanganetram Mosashakam Patre Rekankakanta Jitagravam Damodaram Bhaktivaram Iti Driksha Lila Bir Anandat Kunde Swakosham Dimadjantam Akyapayantam Dade Sita Kesu Bhakti Tatwagam Punak Premaktastam Shatavriti Bande. Varam Deva Moksham Mokshavatim Maha Nachanya Prene Hambaleshadapiha. Idam Teva Purnata Gopalabala Satame Manasya Virastam Kimanyay. Idam tebu kambojam achantandilai Pritam kunta lai snekta tasya gopya. Mochumbitam bimba ratadam begi manasya virastam alam lakshalabai. Namo Deva Dhammo Dev Ananto Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam. Kripa Trishti Vishtati Dinam Vatanu Grahaneshama Magyame Yakshi Drisha. Guverapma Jomana Uchai Vadyadvarat Dwayomukti Tau Bhakti Ajokrito Cha. Data prema bhaktim sva kame prayatya namokshe grapome ste damodareya. Namaste Stulamne Sporaditidamne Tvadio Dharayata Vishvashadamne. Namo Radhikaya Tva Diya Priyaya Namo Nantali Laya Devaya Tubhyam. Namam Ishwaram Sachit Anandurupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Yasodameo Lukala Davamana Param Rishtamat Yantat Tulu Chagovya. Jaya Rad Hat Damodara Rada Damodara Radhe. Jaya Rad Hagulokananath Rad Hagulokananath Radhe. Jaya Radha, Hagulokanana Radha, Hagulokanana Radhe. Jaya Radha, hey, Jaya Radha, hey, Jaya Radha, Jaya Radha. Jaya Radha, hey Jaya Radhe, Radhe Jaya Radhe. Jaya Sri Radhe. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravidikacharya, also Teta Sitashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya. Chalanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaye Gadada Srivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuram Ki Jai Jagadada Swami Ki Jai Munamai Ki Jai Srimad Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale. Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharni Nivishesha Shunyavati Paschati. To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and his mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes. He shivered in fright and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, who is bound by his devotees' love, I offer my humble obeisances. Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drown the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayana and Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart. O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened by vibhu fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow, and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy upon me, uplift me, and protect me with your nectarian vision. O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tame cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvara, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation to your effulgence. Abdomen, bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes. Jai Lord Damodar. Lord Damodar ki jai.
Chaitodarpana marjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitan Gata Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi electric candles Marhaiva Midrishami Ajani Nanuraga Narada